Robot Talk is the podcast that sits down with robot enthusiasts from around the world and asks them the questions you always wanted answered. Like, is that a robot patrol dog? And how does that thing work? Hello everyone! Welcome to Robot Talk. I'm your host, Claire Asher, and this week's episode is about industrial robotics and the four-legged robots that are performing important tasks and keeping humans out of harm's way. Before we get started, I'd like to invite you to join the Robot Talk community on Patreon, where I'll be sharing behind-the-scenes updates, and you can chat with me and other Robot Talk listeners. You can also sign up to support the podcast for just £5 a month. And if you do, not only will you get a warm, fuzzy feeling for helping me to keep producing and expanding the podcast, but you'll also get access to exclusive bonus episodes and lots of other cool perks. Check out patreon.com/Claire Asher to find out more. The first 20 Patreon supporters get a free sticker, so don't procrastinate, join today. And a quick shout out to my latest Patreon supporter, Richard Fox. I can't thank you enough for supporting the podcast. Welcome to the Robot Talk community. So, with all that said, let's get on with this week's interview. I recently had a fascinating conversation with Benjamin Mottis from ANYbotics about robot dogs for inspection and maintenance. This week, I'm speaking to Benjamin Mottis, Global Research Community Manager at ANYbotics, who specialises in deploying their four-legged ANYmal robot in a variety of industrial settings. Hi Ben, I'm excited to have you on the podcast.
Hi Claire, thanks a lot for the invitation. I'm very delighted to present ANYbotics.
So to get us started, for listeners who might not be familiar, can you describe the ANYmal robot and tell us a little bit about its skills and abilities?
Yeah, sure. That's a good starting point. So first, ANYmal is a four-legged autonomous robot designed for the toughest industrial environment. Mm-hmm. What does it mean? Is that from the hardware to the software, we really make it to go in the most difficult, rough terrain that you can find in the industry. The robot is fully autonomous, so it's packed with a lot of robotic sensors to be able to navigate in complex terrain, climbing stairs, avoiding obstacles, autonomously charging on its docking station. So once you have a mission created, you don't need to do anything, any human interaction to operate the robot. It will do its inspection around by itself. Mm-hmm. And what does it do? So the main goal of ANYbotics is to collect data. So we have a set of sensors, an acoustic camera, thermal camera, a zoom camera, and some gas sensing solution to really collect data for all the specific application of our customers.
Fantastic. I have a little bit of a soft spot for kind of robot dogs or quadruped robots. I guess because they do seem so much more like a real animal. I've seen quite a lot of industrial robots that are on wheels, but I guess having those legs means you can really clamber over like obstacles and, like you said, climb stairs and really navigate terrains that are more challenging.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main point of having leg robots compared to wheel robots, is that at the end, you will not find any industrial site totally flat with a flat ground everywhere.
Yeah.
You will always have a pipe, a small step, some stairs, any small obstacles, or just a pallet that you have to cross over. Mm. So all these small details make it necessary to use a leg robot. And also, our robot has really been designed to go where humans can go. So in terms of dimension, he has almost the same dimension of a human. So you can really go in all the areas of the industrial site where a human can go.
And what kinds of industries are ANYmal being applied to?
So maybe to summarize the type of environment, we have these 4D acronyms. so for dirty, dangerous, dull, and dear. And that summarizes very well where we deploy the robot. So in all the dangerous, tough environments. So in terms of industries, it's all the heavy industries, such as the oil and gas, the chemicals, the petrochemical site, but also the metals industry, the mining industry, the nuclear, or the power and utilities. So our range of application is extremely large for all type of heavy, big industry when you have dangerous areas, dangerous sites.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of task is ANYmal doing?
So the main goal of ANYmal is really inspection. So doing inspection round. So for instance, one time every shift, so every 8 hours or every day, to monitor all the assets of the site in order to do predictive maintenance, detect anomalies, detect leaks on the pipe or gas leak on some assets. So to do that is equipped, as I explained before, with a few sensors. So we have a zoom camera that allow us to take high quality videos and photos. And then on these images, you can run AI to detect anomalies such as rust, defect on equipment. We also have a thermal camera to detect overheating on an equipment. So if one of the gearbox or one of the motor is overheating, with the thermal camera, you can detect it. We have an acoustic camera to detect gas leak or partial discharge on a high voltage electrical asset. And also we have a gas sensing payload to detect gas concentration in the site. So in order to evaluate if you have a gas leak and to evaluate the concentration, because currently if you have, for instance, a gas alert on an industrial site, they will send a team to detect and to confirm or not the gas presence. So which is quite dangerous when you think that you have to send human, even if you know that you might have an incident. In the future, we will just send robots to do the first check and then, if necessary, send human.
Okay. And so, I mean, a lot of the time it's kind of just doing like daily patrols, basically, like a human might have done previously, but just checking everything's in order. And then I guess if something's not, then you have to send a human like engineer or whatever in to fix the machine or whatever's broken.
Yeah, exactly. It's what we are really doing is to do daily inspection, so generating a lot of data. So to avoid to send human in dangerous areas. And also one of the big challenge of our customers is to find the right people to go, because nowadays people don't want to go in this type of site or don't want to work during night, don't want to work during weekends. The robot, he doesn't care if he has to do a mission at 1 a.m. on a Sunday morning. He doesn't need to sleep. He will not be tired. So he will also generate accurate and reliable data over the time with always the same point of view. So it's also very useful data and very meaningful data to run AI software on top of them.
Cool. And so, as well as being used widely in industry, I know there's a large community of researchers who are using ANYmal in like a university setting. So can you talk a little bit about some of the research that ANYmal is being used for?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is exactly what I'm doing at ANYbotics. So my official title is Global Research Community Manager, which is a big title to say that I'm in charge of leading ANYmal Research, our specific package for universities and research centers.
Okay.
If I go back a bit in the ANYbotics history, we are coming from ETH, so we are a spin-off from ETH Zurich. So we are coming from a research lab. And since the beginning, we want to keep our strong links and strong partnership with the research community by closing the loop and providing our robots as a product, as a development platform for them, and by building collaboration with universities. At the moment, our community is composed of more than 25 institutes from all around the world. So a lot in Europe, so with ETH Zurich, University of Oxford in the UK, or UCL also in London, but also in the US with Stanford, the AI Institute, in Brazil with University of Sao Paulo, or even in Australia. We have 2 research centers in Australia using ANYmal. So we have a really global research community from all around the world.
Cool. Do you get to go and visit them all and hang out in these cool universities?
That's one of the perks of the job. And actually, I'm going to Australia next week.
Oh, nice.
that's one of the good advantages of the job is to go to the academic conference also. So I'm going to the big robotic conference at ICRA, which was last year in Japan, this year in Atlanta or Paris, and also to go to visit all the universities. So that's one of the good perks of the job.
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, I know sometimes you can't talk about the kind of the research that's going on, but can you give me any examples of like projects or types of research that ANYmal's being used for?
Yeah, totally. Actually, it's quite open source. I cannot disclose current researches, but since the goal of research is to be published, at the end, it's still quite open source.
Yeah.
I think we have 3 buckets of research, of type of research. The first one is core robotics. So researchers and lab working really on the deep aspect of the robot or core aspect of the robot, such as locomotion, navigation, perception. So one type of research is, for instance, to deploy reinforcement learning locomotion to solve a new challenge. So for instance, jumping on blocks, doing parkour or climbing ladders. So now you can really see a lot of crazy videos of the robot doing absolutely crazy movement that you cannot even think it will be able to do it. On the navigation and perception side, it's more about adding new sensors, creating new SLAM algorithm or new way of localizing or interacting with the environment.
So SLAM is simultaneous localization and mapping?
Yeah, exactly. So it's how the robot map its site and localize in this site. So without a GPS or without any external sensors or signals, he will do it only with his own sensors. So researchers use ANYmal sensors. So we have a LiDAR, we have some depth cameras, some wide angle cameras, but they can also add new type of sensors to develop new solutions.
Okay.
So that's the first bucket on the core robotics. And then we have a second bucket of type of research on the applications. So developing new application for the robot. So for instance, adding a manipulation arms to perform tasks in industrial environment or even in your home. Researchers at some project when that to use the robot to help people with disabilities. So for instance, to help them to go to pick up their letters or to pick up food or to help them in their daily tasks. We have also some researchers deploying robots in agricultural environments, in vineyards, in all type of fields. So to develop new application, we have also new payloads on top of the robot. And the last bucket, which is also quite an important one also for us, which is industrial collaboration. So we have a lot of now universities working with industrial customers to develop specific application for their needs. So it's mainly on the data analysis. So for instance, it can be developing a new AI software to detect rust on an equipment or to analyze specific assets, which is only specific to one side of the customer or to one specific use case of the customer.
Okay. I guess like within ANYbotics, you're also doing your own research and development. And so how do you make sure that doesn't kind of, that you don't end up like duplicating efforts and having researchers doing things that you're also kind of doing internally?
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, our the main focus of ANYbotics now is really to deploy robots in industrial environments. So our main research focus or development focus is really more on the reliability, on having a robot working night and days to perform missions night and days without any human interaction or human interference. And one of the examples is that our research and development on the locomotion aspect will be to ensure that we can climb any type of industrial stairs without any issues, without any stair fall at any point. So being 100% reliable on stairs, while in the research lab, they don't really push the effort on the reliability, but more on solving the challenge and achieving a result. So they will be more interested in jumping over a box or climbing a ladders, things that we will not do now because our industrial customers, they don't want a robot jumping over box or doing crazy locomotion things. They really want something reliable, working night and days for them. So that's a bit how we differentiate from the research lab that are maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years in advance compared to what we do, focusing on the reliability and the industrial aspect.
Yeah, I guess like the backflips and the parkour is cool, but it's not that useful.
Exactly. no one's want a robot jumping on an offshore oil and gas platform or in the middle of a nuclear power plant.
No, probably not. So yeah, I was watching the video that you shared about AI being used to kind of improve animals' movement and navigation and intelligence. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So I think AI is a big thing of the moment, of course.
Yeah.
And definitely at ANYbotics, we use it since quite a long time now at different level. So the first one, the lowest level, is really on the locomotion. So we were the first one to deploy reinforcement learning on quadruped robots.
Okay.
So to be able to perform this kind of crazy locomotion on all type of terrain, all type of rough terrain, unstable terrain. So that's maybe the first aspect of where we are using AI. And the second one is on the data analysis. So when the robot collect data, so make images, videos, thermal images, or acoustic measurements, we need to analyze them to then create meaningful and actionable data for the customer.
Right.
Because at the end, the customers, they don't want a photo of an asset or a photo of a pipe of a motor. They want to know what is the issue, or is there an issue or not, and how to solve it.
Yeah.
So now we are really using AI at this level to create meaningful action from the data. And on the last one, it's a bit more a side topic that we are using AI in our daily work to develop the software, to develop the hardware. And even us in the commercial department, we use AI all the day in our daily work. So it's also at the core of our work.
Okay, yeah. You've really embraced it then.
Yeah, totally.
So one thing you haven't mentioned so far, like when I see ANYmal walking around and kind of climbing over all different terrains, like one application area that immediately springs to my mind is like disaster response, kind of search and rescue, that ability to kind of climb over rubble or whatever. Is that happening? Is that something you might do in the future? Is that just completely out of your remit?
So that's a very big topic of robotics at the moment.
Yeah.
At this stage, it's still a very research topic. So we have a lot of universities also for European consortium using robots in disaster or in case of a collapse of a building or an industrial incident. So at that moment, it's still really a more research topic. However, we are still developing solutions for industry, what we call first responders. So using ANYmal in case of if you have a gas alarm or you have an alarm on one of your assets, you don't want to send a human. We have some specific features to send ANYmal, so to create what we call semi-teleoperation. So you just click on the map and you send the robot and it will check and send you the data, check if there is an anomaly or not, and also feed you with live stream data so you can really use it to analyze and to take action from the robot.
Yeah.
That's what we do because we are really focused on the industry. On the disaster use case, it's really more research topic at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, the way you kind of mentioned, you just click on the map and it goes there. Like 5 years ago, before I knew anything about robotics, I wouldn't have blinked an eye at that. But that's actually quite impressive. Like for it to be able to navigate through that environment on its own and kind of you give it the high level task and it figures out the details.
Yeah, exactly. It's part of the setting when we set up a new environment, so a new site. We create this map of the entire site, and then the robot can navigate autonomously in this map. And with our first responder use case, we just have a small interaction marker, and you can just position it on the map, click, and the robot will automatically go. If he has connection everywhere on the site, he will stream you the data. If he doesn't have connection, he will do his inspection. So the inspection you have programmed, and then he will come back and send the data when you get back a connection.
Cool. And you mentioned earlier about operating night and day autonomously. Does that mean that he can charge himself? He can go to his little charging dock and when he needs his batteries charged?
Yeah, totally. That's the main goal, and that was at the core of our design. we don't need to swap or to plug a cable to charge the robot. He has a docking station, so we'll automatically go to charge at the end of his mission. Because our ultimate goal is really to deploy it in unmanned environments, so without any operators around. So for instance, one of the big use case is offshore platform for wind turbine. Right. So on this platform, they don't have humans, don't have operators. They only go to do maintenance once every 3 months. So in the meantime, you need to have the robot working perfectly, fully autonomously, and charging by itself on the platform.
I don't know why that makes me feel like a bit sad for the robot, like he'll be lonely.
Yeah, exactly. You can still teleoperate it from the ground center, so that's
okay. Yeah. It's weird, the kind of instinct to anthropomorphize sort of any robot that looks vaguely animal shaped. 4 legs, kind of a head. You just instinctively, I think of it as like almost like a pet.
I see. We got a lot of people when we are going to conference fairs that sometimes petting a bit the animal, thinking that it's a dog.
So that leads me to my final and most important question of all. When do you think I can get my own robot dog as a pet?
Great question. So if you need to do 24/7 inspection at your home, that's a good time. Otherwise, at the moment, might be a bit too industrial or heavy for a pet.
Yeah.
But the good news that you don't need to feed him or to carry off about him. He will just live by himself and charge by himself. So he doesn't need any maintenance or a lot of effort to take care about him.
Yeah, that's a big plus. Well, I'll keep waiting for my robot dog pet then. Ben, it's been really fun chatting to you today. I've been talking to Benjamin Mottis from ANYbotics. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you very much. It was great to discuss with you.
Thanks for listening. If you enjoy Robot Talk, please share the podcast, subscribe, and leave a review. It really helps boost the podcast, so thanks in advance. And make sure you check out @RobotTalkPod on social media to see a photo of the ANYmal robot performing autonomous inspection tasks in an industrial environment. Next week, I'll be talking to Tanya Katarina Kaiser from the University of Technology Nuremberg about evolved behaviour for robot teams. Until then, I've been Claire Asher, and this has been Robot Talk. Robot Talk is brought to you by the Hamlin Centre, Imperial College London.